Hey y'all, I'm Elisa and I am the Scrappy Wife behind scrappywife.com, and today I have a faith journaling process video for you. I'm not going to work in my Bible, but I'm going to work in this journal that I set up for the A Heart at Rest devotional from By the Well for God. If you want to see how I set up this journal, I do have a process video for it, so you can check that out. And I am on day 6, pushing pause. And I will be working on this piece of watercolor paper. I'm planning on doing some mixed media. I am going to play with my foil quill freestyle pen, and I'm super excited about that. And this day 6, pushing pause, hit home like crazy. I feel like it was written directly to me, and I will talk more about that when I add the voiceover on top of this. But I'm going to get started working again, like I said, with some mixed media, and this stamp set, Sweet on Jesus, available from By the Well for God. We'll put you on fast forward and see how it goes. To begin, I'm going to prep my page with this Liquitex clear gesso, and it might seem unusual to prep a watercolor page with gesso, and it is a bit unusual, but I have been experimenting a little bit more with mixed media, and I have found that I kind of like the effect that gesso has on how my watercolors are mixing. And so I've been using gesso a little bit more on the backgrounds of papers just because I like the grainy kind of, I don't know, just uneven effect. And so that's, just a personal preference. You saw me there remembering I needed to plug in my We Are Memory Keepers foil pen so that it would be all heated up, ready to go when I was ready to foil in just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, these are some koi watercolors. I'll link them below. And I am really just kind of splashing them on the page. I'm using plenty of water, picking some colors that are in those foils that are to my left right there, and having them just move around the page. And you'll see me, I'll pick it up, I'll let them move and drip and kind of just experiment. And I wanted just, I don't know, like a weathered watercolor, metallic. I don't know what I was going for, but I liked it in the end. And sometimes it's just fun to experiment. The fun thing about mixed media is that you don't have to stop until you are pleased with the product. So I'm going to add again and again and more layers, and I'll take some off with a paper towel. I'll dry it. I'm going to try to fill in all of the white space, and I'm just picking some different colors, experimenting. Again, a big thing you want to remember when you're working with watercolors is to use water. Especially, I'm on this watercolor paper. It is prepped with gesso, so it is sturdy and strong and ready to take all of this water. Because the gesso is on the paper, it's allowing a little bit more movement of the colors on top, which I like. I like seeing the movement, and I like seeing the imperfections that the gesso has left from being underneath. For me, I love splatters, and so I'm going to use metallic paint over here to my right to add a few different colors of splatters. I'm concentrating it in the corners and kind of trying to create some movement across the page. Again, all of this is to just create interesting layers in the background. I make sure it's good and dry, and then I'm going to move on to my foil quill. I am definitely still learning with these Freestyle foil quill pens, but I can tell you they are so much fun to play with. My goal today is mixing foils, having one image that has multiple colors that make it up. So I'm checking my pen. It's definitely hot. I don't recommend touching it. Just kind of trust that it's hot. I have my stamped image that I secured to the paper with washi tape, and then you put the foil in between the stamped image and the piece of paper that you're intending to foil on. I'm using the broader tip and going very slowly over the lines that I intended to be blue is the first color I'm starting out with. Something I learned, the washi tape did not stick very well to the paper, mostly because it was gesso underneath. And so it shifted when I flipped it back up. So that's something to watch out for in the future. I'm picking a different color, putting my image back down. Again, the washi tape was supposed to keep it secure, but it shifted at the last second. Now I'm tracing my coffee cup in the purple foil. You want to go nice and slow. I started getting a little overconfident, started moving faster, and you'll see that I do have some skips in my image. It doesn't really bother me. For me, the metallic is just for more of an effect. But if I were doing words or something like that, then that would probably become more of an issue. And you can see it shifts a little bit under my hands because the washi tape wasn't holding it completely secure. And so I have a little bit of an oops right there in the corner. It's gotten a little bit off. And here I'm like, oh man, I'm noticing that it's off. I'm trying to secure that washi tape down. But I'm gonna go ahead and press forward, pick another color of foil and add the steam in. So again, my third color of foil, I'm considering whether I want to just go directly over the foil, but no, I decide I am gonna try to trace this heart steam that's part of my image. And again, look how fast I started to go, and I will have tons of skips. This paper is not totally smooth. Again, it's watercolor paper, which is not smooth anyway, and then it has gesso over the top. So it really would have taken some slow, kind of more methodical work there, and I try to go back over it. You can see my head getting in the way. I'm trying to line it up perfectly, but in the end, it's okay. I don't mind. It's just for effect, and I'm learning with every time I use this, which if you've purchased this tool, you will totally understand. It is so fun to use, but there is definitely a learning curve. Try one last ditch effort to fix the handle of the coffee cup that got a little askew, and I think I'm gonna try to color it in, but again, it doesn't quite work how I imagined, so I will fix it later with watercolor. The next step I'm going to do is a masking technique with the foil. So I've cut out the coffee cup. I'm going to add adhesive to the back of the coffee cup and cover over the image that I've already foiled onto my paper. And in this way, it'll make kind of a masking technique if you've done that with stamping. I'm going to put it down, and now I'm going to adhere my image of this really cute cupcake. If I didn't say it before, this is the Sweet on Jesus set from By the Well for God. It released with their last stamp release in, I guess, the end of September, maybe by now. And I'm going to use this set. I love, love, love all of these images. And now I'm going to do the same foiling technique, but with the cupcake. Again, this time I'm learning my lesson. I made really sure that that image was adhered down really well with the washi tape. I'm going super slow and methodical on my image, and the cupcake turns out much, much better. While you're watching me foil, let me talk a little bit about the devotion. This was a great one, and it was about pushing pause, and it talked a lot about how sometimes we become so busy doing things for God that we miss out on time with God. And that is something that I find in my life all the time. I'm not someone that's great at saying no to things, so I'll say yes, take on a million activities that are all great quality activities, but sometimes they keep me so busy that I miss out on just being in the moment. There are definitely times that I feel so busy with doing things for God that I miss out on simply being with Him. I'll rush through a devotional to get to the end product instead of just soaking in the words. Or I might plan a Sunday school lesson without consulting God on what He wants me to teach. I bustle my family from activity to activity without fully taking in the moments God has given me. I think we can push pause by taking a moment to reflect on the purpose God has for us in each activity that we're doing. Not just completing the activity to check it off, but really looking to get meaning out of it. I think we want to dig deeper, which is why I chose this image. I think of some things that I do as icing, like on the surface, making things pretty for others to see. And I think God wants us to really dig deeper, go deeper than the icing. Look past the icing, which will be my title on my page in just a moment. I am loving the foiled images on my paper, but I decided I want them to stand out a little bit more. So I'm taking the same koi watercolors, and I am going to fill in some of the image just really lightly, loosely, not trying to completely take out the background. It's really more of a translucent look that I'm adding with a little bit of shading. It makes up for the spots over my coffee cup that went a little bit awry, kind of brings it together for the eye. My cupcake turned out fantastic, and so I can already tell that I'm learning with this, and it's going to be a fun tool to use in the future. As I continue to work with the watercolor, let me talk about the colors I chose. Now, I didn't choose colors that necessarily went with the theme of this kit from By the Well for God. This kit is a heart at rest, and it has this beautiful fall rich color scheme to it. And I feel a freedom when I'm not working with all of the kit materials like the die cuts and things to experiment and go outside the color scheme of the kit. I'm using lots of parts of the kit. First of all, the devotional, which is the most important part, and then these beautiful stamps that were released at the same time. And I think you can encompass the general feel of a kit without always using all of the materials that come in it. To me, that's one of the freedoms in Bible journaling, is that a lot of people can read the same devotion and capture it in so many different ways. I have been feeling a call towards mixed media recently, and so this allowed me to kind of answer that creative call and still really dive in and dig deep to this devotion. I'm wanting to create a base for my coffee cup and cupcake to be sitting on, so I take some metallic watercolor over on the side and I'm adding texture paste to it, and you'll see I'm going to start mixing it with my finger. The reason I wanted to add texture paste is because I was looking for a different texture on the bottom. I have a lot of depth and texture in this background, but I like the idea of changing it up on the bottom, and this created kind of a stone look, and I'm just going to apply it with my finger. Now, the metallic does not come through when you add texture paste to it, but it was really that coppery color that I was going for to tie in the copper splatters that I had added earlier. So I'm adding it again with my ring finger. It's really important to make sure you wash off your hands and wash off your supplies after you use that texture paste, because it will dry and not come off. You all are probably getting tired of seeing me use this stamp set, but you guys, I am obsessed with the Elemental Alpha from By the Well for God. It was released a couple of months ago, and I want to use it on all the things still. Like, I cannot get over using it. And I'm going to use it for the word icing, and my entire title will be Look Past the Icing, meaning go deeper. Find the purpose in the activity, not just completing the activity. And I think in order to find the purpose, you have to slow down and kind of dig deep. So adding my title here with my little periods at the end, and then I will just handwrite in the beginning of that, look past the, and I'm super pleased with how this page is turning out so far. Next step will be to add the date up in the upper right hand corner. I'm using a date stamp from Heidi Swap and kind of doing a messy date up there, and then I will look to add a little bit of journaling. I took a bunch of notes on this devotion in my faith journal that I had set up for a heart at rest, but I really wanted to include just a few more thoughts on here just because so many of them had occurred to me. Like I said, this particular day kind of hit me really hard, like right between the eyes and right in the heart, knowing that it was something that I needed to focus on, moving away from busyness and moving towards God. All the supplies I used today are linked down below, so check it out if you're interested. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as that bell notification button. I hope you have a fantastic day, and as always, keep it creative.